Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are reading from the book Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatiswarananda. We are in part 2, which is Spiritual Practice Techniques, chapter 18, The Path of Yoga Vedanta Synthesis. Starting the section, is a Guru essential? This is the question many people ask. They don't ask this question when they send their children to schools and colleges or to a music academy. The doubt about the need for a guru comes only when they start thinking about their spiritual life. As I said, many people are mere children when it comes to spiritual life. Age and physical growth alone are not enough. If there be some unique souls born with divine consciousness, who feel the divine presence even from their very childhood, they do not need a spiritual teacher, but all others do need one. Once a devotee asked my teacher, Swami Brahmananda, Maharaj, is a guru necessary? The Swami smiled and said, my boy, one requires a teacher even when one wants to learn stealing. But this sublime Brahma Vidya, the knowledge of Brahman, does it not require a teacher to acquire it? This is from Spiritual Talks, published in 1968, page 43. You know, even pickpockets have their gurus because they have to pass through a tremendous discipline and training, and this needs the guidance of a master pickpocket. In this connection, I wish to tell you an anecdote. Girish Chandra Ghosh, the famous writer and actor of Bengal, and a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, used to practice homeopathy in his old age. Taking the name of the master, he would give medicine. His tremendous intuition enabled him to achieve success in his way of treatment. One day, an elderly and very decent-looking gentleman was sitting by his side when a young man came and said, Sir, I have lost my wristwatch on the way. The other gentleman became inquisitive and asked, when and where did you lose it? The young man said, Sir, I lost it at such and such an hour, at such and such a place. And the elderly man said, you will give it back, you will get it back. How could he give that assurance? Because the fine-looking gentleman was one of the leaders of pickpockets, one of their gurus. Let me give you another instance. You want to learn astronomy. You take a book and try to understand it. You get precious nothing. But the astronomer says something astounding. Every day you see the sun rising and setting. And here comes a man who says that the sun never rises, the sun never sets. It is all due to the movement of the earth. If we believe in our sense perception alone, we cannot grasp all this. But if we do not, we have to go to him, study under him, make experiments, and only then can we really convince ourselves that what we see with our eyes is an illusion and what the astronomer says is the truth. A spiritual teacher also comes and says something astounding. We are all conscious of our body. We think we are all men and women. But the spiritual teacher says that we are the spirit, distinct not only from the body, but also from the mind and the ego. But if you think, as many people do think, oh, he is a cheat, then God bless you. Instead of doubting your guru, you should doubt yourself. Am I this mass of flesh, this mass of filth? Or is there something living within me, something conscious, a soul in me? When you start thinking like that, your spiritual life begins. I go to a teacher who has been following the spiritual path all his life, has attained illumination, has come to possess great sympathy, love, compassion, and kindness. I sit at his feet, learn from him something of spiritual disciplines, and do my spiritual practices regularly. As my mind becomes purer and purer, I get something in the domain of the spirit, and my Ishta Devata becomes living for me. I feel within me a presence that permeates my being, which is also manifest in all beings. In the 7th chapter of the Chandogya Upanishad, we come across a dialogue between two sages, Narada and Sanat Kumara. Saints and sages do not drop from the sky. They too are born as men. Saints are not born perfect. They have to manifest their perfection. Through sadhana, they unfold their divine potentiality. Narada had his period of true studentship, had studied all branches of learning, the scriptures, the sciences, and the arts. But having mastered these subjects, he found something was lacking in him. He discovered that he knew nothing about himself, his real nature. We are all quite content to read and know of the outer world, but neglect to know even a bit of ourselves. It is most unscientific. Eddington, the British astrophysicist, has said, that to which truth matters must have a place in reality. Without some knowledge about the subject, education is incomplete. The world is full of half-educated people who don't know themselves, who don't know anything of the higher reality, but pose to be teachers or saviors of the world. Such persons are out to destroy the world. Now let us come back to the Upanishadic episode. Sanat Kumara asked Narada to tell him about what he already knew. Narada gave a long list of subjects he had studied, including grammar, rituals, the Vedas, etc. And then he added, I am only a knower of verbal texts, not a knower of the Atman. I have heard that one who knows the Atman goes beyond grief, but have not realized the Atman, so I am in great sorrow. This is from the Chandogya Upanishad 7.1.3. Sanat Kumara listened to him with infinite tenderness. He began to teach Narada about Brahman. First he said the speech was Brahman, that is, an aspect of the manifestation of Brahman. Higher than speech was mind, higher than mind was will, higher than that was mind stuff, still higher were meditation, intuition, the 5 elements, prana, and so on. The highest was bliss. After thus guiding the understanding of the disciple step by step, Sanat Kumara made a remarkable statement. That alone which is infinite is bliss. There is no bliss in the finite. Yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukhamasti. Yo vai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukhamasti. The trouble, this is from the Chandogya Upanishad 7.23.1. How to purify our minds. The trouble is that our soul longs for infinite joy, infinite love, infinite bliss, but we try to find that in the finite, and if we don't succeed, we feel frustrated. The Guru said, if you want real joy, unbounded joy, you have to reach the infinite. So Narada's next question was, what is meant by the term the infinite? It is that all-pervading reality which is everywhere, above, below, to the right and to the left. Attaining to that, you don't see or hear or know anything else. It is infinite consciousness. So this is again from the Chandogya Upanishad 7.24.1 and 7.25.1. But how to get to it? What prevents us from attaining to the infinite forthwith? Here the great ancient teacher Sanat Kumara gives us in a nutshell the whole gist of spiritual discipline. When ahara, the food we take, is pure, our mind becomes pure. And when the mind becomes pure, our memory becomes pure. That is, we remember our spiritual nature and gradually become established in spiritual consciousness. This destroys the knots of the heart and leads to emancipation. Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhihi सत्त्वशुद्धौ ध्रुवो स्मृतिः स्मृति 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 स्मृतिलम्भे स्मृतिलम्भे सर्व सर्वघ्रति सर्वघ्रतिना स्मृतिर्लम्भे सर्वग्रन्थीनां विप्रमोक्षः आहारशुद्धौ सत्त्वशुद्धिः सत्त्वशुद्धौ ध्रुवो स्मृतिः स्मृतिलम्भे सर्वग्रथीनां This is from the Chandogya Upanishad 7.26.2. When we have realized the infinite spirit, we are freed from all bondage and sorrow. When we realize that we are one with the infinite spirit, all our problems of life and death are solved. Let us now try to understand the meaning of the word ahara. The word ahara means what we take in. Does it mean only food? Pure sattvic food? Pure vegetarian food? How far does this help? It helps a little, but unless you know how to purify the mind, nothing much happens. There are plenty of wicked people who are vegetarians. What type of vegetarians are they? God bless them. If you feed a poisonous snake with pure milk, it will only manufacture poison. So it is not enough to fill our bellies with pure food. Our poisonous nature is to be discarded. Therefore, Shankara observes while commenting on the above passage, ahara is that which is taken in, namely the experience of sound, etc., which are taken in for the experience of the agent. And when this cognition of objects is purified, that is, when the cognition of objects becomes free from all taint of aversion, attachment, or delusion, then of one having such a cognition, the inner nature becomes pure. This is Chandogya Upanishad, translated into English by Dr. Gaganath Jha, published in 1923, volume 4, page 219. Some of you have seen the 3 Japanese monkeys. These are 3 monkey dolls. One monkey is closing both the eyes, another both the eyes, and the third the mouth. During my stay in Europe, I came across a stone carving on the bank of a lake in Switzerland. There were also 3 monkeys, but with this difference. One had only one eye closed, another had only one ear closed, and the third had half the mouth closed. I was taken aback for a moment. Then, in a flash, I understood the meaning. Don't see what is bad, but see what is good. Don't hear what is bad, but hear what is good. Don't speak what is bad, but speak what is good. First I thought it was an original idea. Then my mind turned to the famous Vedic prayer. O gods, may we hear with our ears what is auspicious. O ye adorable ones, may we see with our eyes what is auspicious. May we sing praises to you, and may we enjoy with strong limbs and body the life allotted to us by the gods. So this is from the Rig Veda, mantra 1.89.8. Bhadram karnebhi shrunuyama devaha Bhadram pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaistuštuvagum sastanubihi Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Now we have to practice all this. And when we have done that for some time, your mind becomes pure to some extent. Make the best use of your vocal organ. You make bad use of it by talking rubbish. Don't do it. Take the name of the Lord, any name that appeals to you. Meditate on any aspect of the Lord that appeals to you with an amount of devotion. After some time, you'll find that your mind is becoming pure. A repetition of the divine name and visualization of the divine form uplift you. Later on, you may get a glimpse of your Ishta Devata and a glimpse of even the universal spirit. Next section, the 8 steps of yoga. How to begin? Patanjali, the great teacher of yoga, has placed before us a spiritual ladder with 8 steps that takes us to perfection. And this is from the Patanjali Yoga Sutra 2.29. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, Ayoshta Vangani, Samadhayoho Ashtavangani. So again, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhayoho Ashtavangani. The first step, called Yama, means the observance of the 5 virtues: Ahimsa, non-violence; Satya, truth; Asteya, non-stealing; Brahmacharya, continence; and Aparigraha, non-dependence on others' charity. Then comes Niyama, or the 5 rules of conduct. First of this is Shaucha, purity of body and mind. Then Santosha, contentment, has to be developed. If one is always grumbling and complaining, how can one with such a mind ever do anything successful, either in this world or in the world of the spirit? We must adjust ourselves to the things in this world and try to improve ourselves. The third rule is tapas. There should be an amount of austerity in life. Without rigor in spiritual practice, each generation is becoming softer than the previous one. Nothing can be achieved by these soft people. The fourth rule is Swadhyaya, self-study. We study books, but how much of it enters our mind? We hear a lecture and say it was wonderful, but if asked, what did you hear? We would not be able to repeat anything. The words, as it were, enter through one ear and pass out through the other. Ideas are not retained. Swadhyaya means reflecting on what you study and making it a part of your own. The Upanishads tells you, Shrotavyaha, first you hear and read, then Mantavyaha, you reflect on what you have heard or read. This is from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 2.4.5 and 4.5.6. So Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 2.4.5 and 4.5.6. That is the way. Only when we are to some extent established in the moral path do we begin to get benefit out of spiritual disciplines. The fifth rule is Ishvara Pranidhana, or self-surrender to God. Surrender your all, body, mind and soul, to Him. So again, the steps for Niyama are Shaucha, purity of body and mind; Santosha, contentment; the third rule is Tapas, austerity; fourth is Swadhyaya, self-study; and then finally Ishvara Pranidhana, or self-surrender to God. Surrender your all, body, mind and soul to Him. The third step of the spiritual ladder, according to Patanjali, so remember Yama, Niyama, then comes Asana. The third step of the spiritual ladder, according to Patanjali, is Asana. You may sit like a statue for many hours. What do you get? Pretty nothing. At least there should be spiritual aspiration. Then your sitting posture helps you in your spiritual practice. The fourth step of discipline is Pranayama. In the practice of Pranayama, you stop your breath. What do you gain? If it is merely a physical phenomenon, then a football bladder must be a great yogi. What do you get by retention of breath? Nothing of itself. But when the mind is greatly disciplined, when the mind is in a spiritual mood, pranayama helps one to rise to a higher plane of consciousness. The fifth step is called pratyahara or detachment. From everything, the mind is to be detached. When you're attending to some work, you banish all other thoughts and give your mind to that particular work. If you fail to practice detachment, you invite worries. When you go to sleep and think of too many things, you don't get sleep, you suffer from insomnia and fall ill. Similarly, if you wish to meditate, you should detach your mind as much as you can from the things of the world, even from the pictures, the thoughts, and feelings that rise within you. But detachment should not create a vacuum in your mind. A vacant mind will fall asleep. For many people, meditation is an invitation to sleep. Be wide awake. Use your willpower a little more. Take the name of the Lord while you meditate. Then there would not be any danger of falling asleep. Instead, the mind will rise to a higher plane. We now come to the sixth step or discipline, which is dharana. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and then pratyahara, and now dharana. This means fixing your mind for some time on some divine theme, or on a holy word, or on a holy blissful form in a particular center of consciousness. You have to feel your center of consciousness first and then concentrate your mind there. Dhyana, maintaining a continuous flow of a single thought about the divine, is the seventh step. Concentration here is deeper and lasts longer. You remain absorbed in divine consciousness, and that leads to the highest state, samadhi, or the superconsciousness state. Dhyana is mystic worship, an attempt to worship God in spirit and in truth. Before we proceed further, let us ask ourselves an important question. We identify with ourselves with the body and think that we are men and women. We worship a certain deity, male or female. We begin our spiritual life that way and also end in that way. But what do we gain? At the very beginning of our spiritual life, it is essential on our part to be conscious of what we are doing. In what way is worship connected to our life? Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.